One of my favourite things I do. Sit here and sometimes have a think about the world. Hello there, Wayne Martin's my name. I'm a local from the Port area, born and bred, and I've got a wonderful story about my train accident in 1960 to tell you about. 7th of March 1960, I was going to Fever Primary School, and the goods trains used to go along Dunica Road and into the Glanville Railway Yards. And as a pastime of the kids after school, mainly the boys, I wouldn't say too many girls did it, we used to hop on the side of the goods trains and catch the train into Glanville. But this particular day I must have misbalanced or whatever, and I fell under the train. I do remember quite clearly getting myself out. There's 2 bogie wheels and there's a gap, a couple of bogie wheels. I remember getting myself out, and I tried to stand up, and I knew I was in some sort of trouble, and the leg was still attached just a little bit, but it was nothing. Of course, all the kids and everybody else, and there was a policeman on duty those days. His name was Wally Bampton. They stopped the train. The train drivers knew nothing about it until they got told to stop. Wally came round, put his thumbs in my artery, and stayed there until the ambulance came, and he was credited for saving my life. He actually used to come into Children's Hospital quite often to visit me. That is not mine. I don't know where that come from. I've never had a teddy bear in my life. And I remember going through the port, got the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and went in this room, and there was a doctor there. He was only a student doctor. His name was Doc Clarkson. That Clarkson finished up, that was Doc Clarkson that used to play for Sturt Football Club and Amateur League Football Club, university, whatever. And I used to meet him, got to know him quite well through the university. And I always used to say to him, "You're the one that actually cut my leg off, not the train." And well, it was a joke, bit of fun, yeah. But from then on, after that, I don't remember much. Next thing I woke up in the Children's Hospital. It might have been that night, that morning, I can't quite remember. But I knew there was something wrong. Those days they didn't tell you, you had to work it out yourself and everything. But when you look down, you can see a foot was missed, so it wasn't very hard to work out. As time went on, getting near the stage of get me walking again. In those days, legs were very expensive. We had to pay for them, and £60 in 1960. You can imagine what that would be worth now. The local MP, Harold Tapping, and Roger Baines from the Messenger Press, they decided to start an appeal, collects £60. Well, they got that well, and the car dealer John H. Ellis, he actually hurt his ankle about the same time, and he was worrying about it. And then he saw my story in the paper, and he thought, I can fix that, boys. He actually donated the whole £60, and there was enough money left over for a couple of more legs and, you know, bits and pieces. There's a photo of John H. Ellis. I was taken up to see him, and very appropriately we both got the same sort of suit on, and I was just showing John, Mr. Ellis, as I used to call him, that I could actually still walk. And I've lived a fairly, I would say, comfortable life. I've lived a fairly steady life. Been married for 46 years. Got a son, 39 this year. He's got 2 little boys. And yeah, I've lived, pretty much worked all my life. Had a lot of casual work, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. And now I'm involved with volunteer the cruise ships down the harbour. I also volunteer at the Royal Show. And yeah, I'm having a great time in life. I really am. Getting a bit older, but that's bad luck. Look, I think with the, I can't go by without mentioning Semaphore Central Football Club and Exeter Football Club, Exeter Hotel and the Cumberland Hotel. I was treated like them. I've got to be careful how I say this. I didn't get any special treatment like they do now. And if I fell down, I got up myself. 3 blokes didn't come pick, that was the way it was. My brother Frank used to be a baker for Oldfields Bakery, delivered the bread, the horse and cart. I can remember one day I went out with him and I tripped. You know what he done? He just come along and picked the bread up and said, hurry up. And that's the way I've been. 46 years. And there's this little, actually we met, of all places, a Port boy at the Redlegs Football Club. First and last I've ever been there. Of course, you know, generally thing used to say, excuse me, would you like a dance? And I just had this thing, I used to tell the girls I had one leg and some would go away and someone would say, oh, who cares? But this girl said, I don't care, my mother's got one leg too. And I stopped walking, she kept walking. I thought, that was a bit harsh. But actually her mother did have one leg. It was the opposite legs to what I had. And me and her mother, we used to banter all the time about who had the best leg, worst leg, what was the we had a lot of fun with that, yeah. One of my happiest moments of my life? Well, if I didn't say with the day I met my wife, I'd be in trouble, so I'll say that. When I gained life membership at Port District Football Club, that was a very great honour, truly a great honour. And also 1979 when Port District started, those days it was called club man, now it's club person obviously. I was actually the first club man, 1979, and my name's on the board down there and I cherish that, yeah. And to see my wife's also a life member down there. Made me quite happy. My son played over 200 games and he got 2 under-17s medals with the amateur league, back-to-back years. His name's on the board and the whole family's on the board, which is really great, yeah. Look, I'd have to say my 2 grandsons, and that's my life now. Due respect to my son and his wife, but seeing those little boys grow up and what they're doing and the banter they get up to, and I think, maybe I was like that, I'm not sure. But, you know, they are my life now, that's it, yeah. Yeah, well that's when I actually had 2 legs, and which goes back a long while. I haven't got many photos those days, unfortunately, because people didn't have cameras like they have now, phones and this, that and the other. And this one's a couple, just after I lost my leg and I was up and about, and I've got the artificial legs, which, as you can see, they're very cumbersome. The strap over my shoulders and the harness right up my top of my leg, which thankfully I don't have to worry about it anymore because just I've got a strap around the top of my knee. That was a solid wooden, virtually a solid wooden leg. But now I've got the titanium rod inside, the same as the athletes, and I've got foot movement, I've got all sorts of stuff. The way I walk now compared to then would be no comparison. I walk pretty much natural now, but look back at that and think, wow, that was hard work, yeah. I was a kid that was different in those days. Like, you know, you see a lot of people with disabilities now that they're out front, but those days you had a disability, you were shoved back in the corner, you weren't allowed to do this, you weren't allowed to do, and I think that's what brought me to down at the Exeter Football Club those days. I could be part of the team without playing, and that's what you can do. I hope somebody gets something out of the story and might be struggling, and you know, look, I'm always free to come and see you or ring me up and have a word, or come down to the pub and have a beer, whatever, yeah. That might be trouble. Don't let people tell you you can't do this or you can't do that. You'll find out what you can do and you can't do. I mean, I can't jump up on the roof, but I can climb up there on the ladder, you know. But just be yourself, you know. You was born to, you're only here for a short time, so enjoy what you got. That's simple as that. If you've got an arm missing or leg missing or whatever, adapt to it and move on, yeah.